Hello, good day. Now we will talk about continuity at an interval. We have here descriptions on the continuity at an interval. A function is said to be continuous at x is equal to c if the limit of your function as x approaches c is equal to f of c. And also, our function is said to be continuous on the interval ab. Dito naka-enclose siya sa bracket. Anong ibig sabihin nito? We're looking for the possible values of x, including your a and b, and all possible values of x in between of a and b. Yan yung ibig sabihin ng interval natin na naka-enclose sa brackets, if it is continuous at each point in the interval. Meron tayong tatlong conditions para masabi natin na yung function natin is continuous. Una, if the function is continuous from the right at a, ito siya. Number two, f is continuous from the left at b. And number three, f is continuous at every number a, b. So again, from the right of a, hahanapin muna natin kung defined yung f of a natin. Second, hahanapin naman natin yung limit ng function as x approaches a positive, since we're looking for the values of your x, okay, from the right at a. Then third, we need to compare your step 1, your f of a, and also the limit of your function as x approaches a positive. Kung yung first step is defined and also your second step existing, then equal naman yung third steps, then the function is said to be continuous from the right at a. So same din sila ng case ng b, kaso we're looking for the values of your x, which is from the left at b. So 1, hanapin natin kung define yung f of b. Second step, kukunin natin yung limit ng function as x approaches b, negative naman. Then step 3, we will compare your step 1 and step 2. Kung magkapareho, that concludes that your function is continuous from the left at b. And then the third is f is continuous on a, b. So this is the graph of your continuity at an interval. Example, f of x is equal to x squared at x is equal to 0, 5. So dito, aalamin natin kung tuloy-tuloy ba yung graph ng function natin, which is your x squared at the given interval, which is 0, 5. Ito yung mga given values for your x. Okay? Paano natin kukunin siya? We will follow the 3 conditions. Okay? Una, hahanapin natin kung tuloy-tuloy ba yung function natin from the right at a. So para malaman yon, we will use the following conditions. So una, alamin muna natin yung f of a. So what is our f of a? Our f of a is f of 0, which is equal to 0 squared, which is also the same as 0. So yung a natin dito is 0, ito, at yung 5 naman natin is 0b. Okay? Then second, aalamin natin yung limit ng x squared as x approaches 0 positive, since right at a tayo, is equal to, substitute, we have 0 squared at that is 0. Then compare natin, pareho ba yung nakuha nating step 1 and step 2? Yes, pareho. Then your f is continuous from the right at a. Alamin naman natin yung f natin if it is continuous from the left of b. So same process, alamin muna natin kung defined yung f of b natin. So our b here is 5 naman. Again, yung a natin is 0, yung b natin is 5. Step 1, we get 25. Defined yung f of 5. Step 2, kukunin natin yung limit as x approaches 5 negative. Substitute lang, and we get 25. And then step 3, i-compare natin yung 1 and 2. Pareho ba yung 25 sa 25? Yes, indeed, pareho. And thus, the function is continuous from the left at b. Kung pareho, okay, or continuous, yung function natin from the right at a and from the left at b, and then we conclude that your function is continuous at every number 0, 5. And this is the graph of your function. So here, so function is continuous on 0 to 5. Okay, so ito yung mga possible values for your x's, including your 0, which is your a, and 5, which is your b. That is continuity at an interval. Another example, how about sa piecewise function? So again, kukunin natin yung conditions natin, yung una, which is from the right at B, A rather, and from the left at B naman. So this is the third. F is continuous at every number. Aalamin natin kung saang interval ba ng X tuloy-tuloy yung functions natin. So una natin kukunin is yung function ba natin continuous from the right at A? So let's see. So ano yung functions na gagamitin natin dito? So we have two functions under ng piecewise functions. Yung isa, x squared, yung isa naman negative x. So para sa right at A, aling functions ang gagamitin natin? That is, if x is equal to, eto, negative 5, 0. So our A here is negative 5, and the function is negative x. So ito yung gagamitin natin para makuha kung continuous ba yung function natin from the right at A. By substitution, we get f of negative 5, that is your A, is also the same as negative times the negative 5. That is equal to positive 5. So define yung step 1 natin. How about step 2? So limit of your negative x as x approaches negative 5 positive is equal to negative times negative resulting to positive 5. Eh, compare natin yung step 3. Pareho ba yung step 1 and step 2? Yes, pareho. Then the function is continuous from the right at A. Meron na tayong continuous from the right at A. Next natin gagawin is, kukunin naman natin yung function if it is continuous from the left at B naman. So, ito na yung gagamitin nating conditions. That is, if x is equal to 0, 5. So, including yung 5 na interval na to. So, the function na gagamitin natin is ito, the x squared. Then, we get, step 1, f of 5 is equal to, ito yung function, 5 squared. That is simply 25. Step 2 naman natin, limit of your function as x approaches 5 negative, since we're dealing with the left at B, that is equal to 25. I-compare natin yung 1 and 3, pareho ba? Yes, pareho. Then your f of x is continuous from the left at B. Thus, f is continuous at every number negative 5 and 5. And this is the graph of your piecewise function. So dito, makikita natin that our function is continuous on negative 5 and 5. So tuloy-tuloy yung graph natin. Next, determine if the function is continuous at interval or not naman, given the function. So meron tayong mga intervals dito. Aalamin na natin kung continuous yung function natin given these intervals. Paano malalaman kung tuloy-tuloy yung function or not? Okay, so kukunin lang natin or titignan lang natin yung denominator. Kung magiging 0 yung denominator, that makes your function discontinuous. Hindi na po tuloy-tuloy yung function natin if your denominator of your function becomes 0. So either magiging indeterminate or magiging undefined. That makes your function discontinuous. Okay? Kung hindi man siya 0, then continuous siya. So by inspecting, so ano yung magiging value ng x dito that will make your denominator 0? That is 4, right? Because 4 minus 4 is 0. So dito sa tatlong interval, aalamin natin kung saan makikita yung 4. Kung nandoon yung 4, sa intervals na yon, then your function is not continuous on that interval. Ito muna, 1 and 3, pag sinabing interval 1, 3, kasama yung 1, yun nasa pagitan ng 1 and 3, that is 2, and also your 3. So 1, 2, 3, these are values of your x. So andun ba si 4? Hindi. Thus, continuous at an interval yung function natin. Tuloy-tuloy yung function at 1, 3. How about 1, 5? So, kasama si 1, kasama si 5, kasama yung mga nasa gitna ni 1 and 5. So, ano yung mga values ng x natin which is between 1 and 5? That is 2, 3, 4. Sabi natin kanina, magiging discontinuous lamang yung function na to if your denominator becomes 0. So, para magiging 0 to, your x will be 4. Andito ba si 4 sa interval 1, 5? Yes. Andun siya. Thus, discontinuous at an interval and also discontinuous at 4 siya. Kasi yung function natin magiging undefined. How about negative 3 and 5? So, kasama si negative 3, kasama si 5, kasama yung mga nasa gitna ng negative 3 and 5. So, those are negative 2, negative 1, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Andun ba si 4? Yes. Thus, this continues at an interval and also this continues at 4. And this is the graph of your function. So, here makita natin that this is the limit of your function that will make it discontinuous. Another example. So we have here f of x is equal to square root of x minus 1 given the following intervals. So saan kaya tuloy-tuloy yung function natin? Sa 1, 5 pa? Sa 1, 10? Sa negative 3, 5? So para malaman yon, inspect muna natin yung function natin. We have the square root of x minus 1. So ano nga ba yung mga possible values or solutions for the square root? Those are positive value including 0. So dapat yung nasa loob ng radical sign is greater than or equal to 0. So dapat positive numbers yung magiging result nito para meron tayong value for radical. And also, pwede ding 0, which is also may value din, which will make your function defined. Okay? So ito, pwedeng 1, yung value ng x to make it 0. So, titingnan natin yung mga value ng x which is less than 1. Okay? Yun yung magiging times na yung function natin is not continuous at an interval. Again, yung x must be less than 1 to make your function not continuous. Okay? So, una, we have 1 and 5. Kasama si 1, kasama si 5, kasama yung nasa gitna ng 1 and 5. So, pasok ba sa interval yung function natin para maging continuous? Yes, continuous at an interval. Yung minimum na interval natin dito is 1. So substitute natin 1 minus 1, that is 0, and the square root of 0 is 0. Defined pa rin siya. So pasok siya, 2, 3, 4, 5, magiging positive pa rin yung radical natin. So continuous at an interval. How about 1 and 10? It is also continuous at an interval. Pasok pa rin yung 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay? Your function is continuous at an interval also. How about negative 3 and 5? So dito sa negative 3, 5, yung mga possible values are negative 3, kasama si negative 3, kasama si 5, at yung mga nasa gitna. And these are your negative 2, negative 1, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay? And also your 5. So by substitution, kasabi natin kanina, dapat yung value ng x must be less than, must be greater than 1. Okay? Para maging continuous. So, x must be greater than 1. Paano pag magiging less than siya? Ano mangyayari sa function natin? Magiging square root of negative number. And square root of negative number is imaginary. That will make the function discontinuous. So dito sa negative 3, 5, discontinuous at an interval yung function natin. So sa anong interval again? Sa x is less than 1. It will make your function imaginary. And this is the graph of your square root of x in minus 1. Another example. We have your x minus 1 over 2x squared minus x minus 1. Given the following intervals, saan siya tuloy-tuloy, saan siya mapuputol. So dito, this is an example of rational function. So magiging not continuous lamang yung function natin if your denominator becomes 0. Okay? Dalawa na yung cases na either magiging indeterminate siya or magiging undefined. That will make your function discontinuous. So ano kaya yung mga possible values for your x's here para maging 0 yung function natin? So factor muna natin. So what are factors of 2x squared minus x minus 1? These are your 2x plus 1 and your x minus 1. I-equate natin siya sa 0 Kasi yung goal natin dito, gawing 0 yung denominator. Okay? Yun yung mga value ng x that will make your function not continuous. Equate natin. So, values for your x is equal to negative 1 half and 1. So, kung yung value ng x natin is negative 1 half, ang mangyayari sa function magiging undefined. Okay? Kung undefined siya, balikan natin yung limits at infinity. So, the limit is negative infinity. So, meron tayong asymptote here na nag-exist. Okay? Kung yung value ng x is negative 1 half. How about if the value of x is 1? It will make your function indeterminate naman, which is also not continuous. So, tingnan natin sa mga intervals kung nasaan sa negative 1 half at nasaan yung 1. So, una, si 0, 2. So, 0 kasama. Okay? Kasama yung 0, kasama yung 2, at yung mga numbers in between 0 and 2. So, what are numbers in between of 0 and 2? 1. Okay? So, yung 1, sabi natin, factor kanina ng denominator. So, magiging, ano siya? Indeterminate. And thus, 0 to is discontinuous at an interval. And also, discontinuous at 1. How about 2, 5? So, 2 kasama, 3, 4, 5 kasama. So, walang negative 1 half and 1. Define pa rin yung function. Thus, discontinuous naman siya at an interval 2, 5. Okay, tuloy-tuloy yung graph natin. How about negative 2? So, yung negative 2 kasama, yung 2 kasama dito, at yung mga in-between the numbers ng negative 2 and 2. Okay, kasama sa interval nito. So, these are your negative 1, 0, and 1. Mapapansin natin na yung negative 1 half is in between also of negative 2 and 2. So, it will make your function discontinuous at an interval. Ganun din yung case kanina ng 1, di ba? Magiging indeterminate siya. And also, since part ng interval yung negative 1 half, by substitution, magiging undefined siya, then we can see that it is also asymptotic at x is equal to negative 1 half. Asymptotic kasi nga, papunta tayo sa negative infinity. This is the graph of your function. So, dalawa. So, meron tayong whole here. This is an example of removable discontinuity. At yung nasa baba naman, this is an example of infinite discontinuity. Okay? Hindi tuloy-tuloy. For the final code, the only way to learn mathematics is to do mathematics. See ya.